Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a friend to the room, a brother to the room.
Man, I feel like I really know you because I watch you every day. You know
That's
what I'm
mutual.
saying? Like literally every day I watch Jalen and Jacoby every day.
Appreciate
Jalen
the
Rose
love.
is here, man.
What up, doe?
What's going on, man? Welcome back, first and foremost.
And how
Yes,
are
indeed.
you? How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a tough, to be honest, it's been a tough like 12 to 18 months for me personally and professionally and my family in particular.
Condolences on your mom.
Thank you very much. I went from being one of the people in the crowd that was really fortunate to be like, I haven't had a lot of deaths in my family. And, you know, my grandmother's 100 years old. And then before you know it, you know, I lost my Uncle Paramore, rest in peace. And then I lost my eldest brother, who was in his early 60s. And then I lost my grandmother. And then in February, I lost my mom.
Is that all due to COVID?
None due to COVID.
Oh, wow.
None due to COVID. My mother had cancer. She was a heavy cigarette smoker, and she was in hospice, you know, in December and January. And, you know, that kind of stuff just changed you. Like, I woke up one day, I never met my biological father. He died in the mid-2000s, Jimmy Walker. And I was just doing the draft last night and sitting there, and it actually hit me that I was an orphan. Like, I was like, wow. And
What you mean orphan? You had your mom, though.
when you don't have living parents, you're considered an orphan.
I get
now.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yes. And basketball is the tie to my family. Like so I'm working the draft. My father was the number one pick in '67.
Your mama used to push you and tell you.
Correct. My mother was the one that got me into the game. She created the name Jalen, combining his name James and my Uncle Leonard, who took her to the hospital to give birth. And now I'm sitting there watching Jalen Green walk across the stage. Jalen Suggs walk across the stage.
Wow.
Jalen Johnson walk across the stage. And my mom created the name.
Yeah, I remember I read something. Or maybe it was in the
crazy.
Fab Five, Doctor. The name Jalen shot up during your Fab 5 days or something like that.
Yes, like
People naming their kid Jalen.
and that's the most humbling thing that's ever happened in my life or my career, to have people come up to me and tell me the origins of why somebody's name is Jalen. And if you notice, each of them are under 30 years of age, because when I was in college, it was from 91 to 94.
Yeah, you and Nas. I think
Nas
definitely.
is like-
Yes,
I think you and Nas are responsible
yes.
for a lot of names. How you dealing with that grief though? Because I remember watching you. I think you was on Maria Taylor when you was just talking, and you clearly broke down. Like, how you dealing with it now?
And I think being hardened by society and just being a black man and being an athlete and growing up in the street, we're learning to suppress our pain.
That's right.
And or mask it.
That's right.
Whether it's partying, drinking, or smoking, or bad habits, or whatever. And so it's been a unique space for me in a lot of ways. But I'm really fortunate. I'm highly favored, and it's just one day at a time, really. That's kind of how I handle it. And the responsibilities in my life change. Like I tell young people all of the time, the circumstances in your life change when all of your bills are in your name. You know what I'm saying? Like, not your phone bill, not your car insurance, all of your bills are in your name. And I found myself doing estate planning as a 48-year-old man, and 4 of the people that were like a part of that are gone.
Wow.
And it was kind of eerie to have to do that over the last month or so.
Wow. Was there ever times in like high school, college, even the pros, where you felt the way you felt mentally and emotionally? Like, we see everybody taking their breaks now because we understand what mental health is. Was this the most difficult thing mentally you had to deal with?
Yes, and shout out to Naomi Osaka. Shout out to Simone Biles.
Absolutely.
I salute them.
Absolutely.
I remember being a young, famous kid from the inner city, and I was ready athletically to compete, and I had the eye of the tiger to try to be a dog and to try to be a member of the Fab Five and to make it to the league. But I remember there was a time we were about to play Duke, and it was a big CBS game, and I executive produced the Fab Five documentary, and I remember watching this interview where we were all sitting there for the first time, and I remember thinking like, damn, my skin is messed up, my teeth is messed up, I'm broke, I don't have a haircut. Like, do I even deserve to be here right now? And it was masked, as you guys know, as black men in particular, just shut up and deal with it.
That's right.
And so we suppress our pain in a lot of ways and our anxiety in a lot of ways. And so that was a pivotal point for me in my life then. And losing the family members I've recently lost now. I'm not saying this because I think I'm hard or anything. I'm saying this because it's okay to share emotion.
That's right.
I've probably only cried maybe 5 times in like 25 years.
I see it.
Right,
I believe it.
right. Like, regardless of what has happened to me, and I've been through a lot of turbulence, trials and tribulations, like we all have. And each of those situations challenged me, Charlamagne, to reevaluate, taking my mental health serious.
Word.
And evaluating, like when you get on the airplane, securing your mask first. That's a real thing, because when you become a success story, you guys know it, ye know it, you go from being a part of the crew to being the boss, the leader, the breadwinner. And that becomes a lot of responsibility. And it's been an amazing journey, and I'm really happy how I've been able to overcome a lot of the things that I've dealt with, and I just want to inspire others.
What do you think about people that say, like, and I've been seeing this all over social media, like, for instance, Simone Biles. She trained all her life for that moment. She, went to practice 8 hours a day and trained 7 days a week, and now when she got to the moment, she didn't follow through, and they say the same thing. That's like if Tom Brady got to the Super Bowl and Super Bowl day say, you know what, I don't want to do this. Or Michael Jordan, game 6, and like,
Right.
you know what, I'm not playing. So what do you say to those people that don't see it on the same way that you see it? So
a lot of those people, about 75% of those people think January 6th at the Capitol was a picnic. Right? A lot of those people, so there's nothing I can say into this microphone
That's
for
real.
450 years that's going to even compute to them that we're more than athletes. We're more than jocks. We're not going to shut up and dribble, right? And so for the people who feel like you practiced your entire life and now this is the major moment, this is what I want them to understand. Michael Jordan won 3 championships, lost his father.
And took a mental health break.
And took 2 years of a
That's
mental
right.
health break.
That's right. We didn't have the language for it back then, but that's what he did.
He was an adult
That's
playing
right.
in the NBA, the GOAT already.
That's right.
She's 24, 25 years old. Like, it's way different when you're a kid. That's what that is. And so she actually showed maturity
That's right.
to me by saying, this isn't about me. I don't feel my best.
That's right.
So I will take a step back and allow you guys to flourish, because this isn't all about me.
That's right.
Now imagine if she would have said she was going to perform, and then all of a sudden before she started to compete, she didn't have it. And this is what I want to say about what she does for a living that's different from all of us. She got to be perfect all of the time. See, playing basketball, I can make a turnover, I can miss a shot. My bad. I can go out and kick it the night before. If it's a bad game, it's a bad game. We play again. She got to stick the landing each time. She has to be perfect. She has to get a 10. And by the way, when she wasn't her best, she still qualified. And the other thing, Team USA is over there, right? But a guy like Kevin Durant gets a chance to compete in one sport and get 1 medal. She's competing in 4 different actions for 4 medals and also has to be perfect. So that's a way different exercise that she's juggling.
And also, too, Simone Biles, we don't know what she's already pushed through.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Larry Nassar.
That's what I'm saying.
She was one of the abuse victims of.
Yes.
So imagine you're going to your place, your home, your place of work, your sanctuary as an athlete. That happened to her during that period of time.
That's right. That's right.
Most people wouldn't want to compete
Ever again.
ever again.
That's right.
And they would feel, and I would feel, and to be honest, as I say this out loud, I'm surprised they don't feel, I would feel neglected by that governing body that allowed me to be abused, that now turns around and asks me to go out and compete for them.
And you know, the crazy part about it is we don't hear these stories a lot of times. Like, I was talking to somebody this weekend, and it was like, and maybe you would know better, they said Allen Iverson would only eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before the games, because if not, his anxiety and his stomach would give him the bubbles because he was playing in front of so many people. So he would only eat a peanut butter and jelly. It would keep his stomach good.
Fam, exactly. I've got another example for you, and I know I'm not speaking out of school because this is family and everybody that's in the league kind of know about this. Rod Strickland was like that too.
The panic attacks?
Rod Strickland would be one of those guys that basically would need to go throw up in the towel before the game.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I remember playing with him later in our careers. We was playing in Toronto, and you know, I was more established in that situation. I was the captain. I was the highest paid player on the team. And this is Rod Strickland. This is a legend to me. Like 2010, like I'm still mad at the Knicks. They broke up him and Mark Jackson. And I'm from Detroit. That's Rod, fresh cut, best fitted, like current Kyrie, everybody who ain't see him play, right? And I'm like, I don't want them to see the OG like this because, you know, it might affect his job security with this squad.
Wow.
And so before a couple of games, when he would go and do that, I was in there trying to clean it up for him and with him. Wow. You see what I mean? And so everybody that you encounter is either in a storm, just got out of a storm, or going through a storm. That's an absolute fact. Now, how we handle that is a measure of our character and just perseverance.
How does it change everything going forward? I mean, not just sports, but life, or really sports, because they have everything there for you physically. You got all the trainers and people to get you all right physically. What's that going to do to the sports world mentally? Do you have therapists on the team, counselors, what?
Well, that's come a long way. I was using this example yesterday. There was a time when players just didn't have all access to the team facility. Look back at some of the old footage of Larry Bird in the mid-'80s when he's in the arena running the concourse. It's dark. It's dark. He didn't think about it. Larry Bird didn't have access to the gym.
Wow.
Right? Like, and so as relationships grow and you get paid more, you become partners, and owners start to appreciate you more than just being, you know, a commodity, then they started to treat you more with like a level of autonomy. Like you see Aaron Rodgers dealing with this right now with the Green Bay Packers. And so the teams now do a great job not only trying to load manage, quote unquote, players with their injuries. And to me, it's a difference between recovery from a horrific injury. Like if Kawhi Leonard is going to miss some games, like I saw him mess up his knee, like that knee's going to be messed up. If you mess up your knee, it's going to be messed up forever, that type of thing. But the exact same thing they are now doing for mental health, making sure counselors are available, make sure that you have the support you need. Teams are doing a terrific job of making sure that athletes and your support group, your family, your kids, and even retired players definitely have access if they want to take advantage of it.
I know you got 15 minutes. I know you got to go. I know you got a live hit. Russell Westbrook, LA Lakers. What's your thoughts?
I'm so happy for Russ because he about to reinvent himself.
You think so?
Watch this, family. This happened with Carmelo Anthony. If Melo would have ended his career after being released by the Houston Rockets, we'll look at my guy, the future Hall of Famer, and the narrative that people with a pen and pad, they would write different about him. But he goes to Portland, resurrects his name because top 10 scoring. You get a chance to see him come back to New York. You get a chance to see him like go out like he's supposed to.
Like he should, absolutely.
Right? CP3, the same thing.
Absolutely.
He was in L.A., Lob City didn't get it done. He went to Houston, him and James Harden didn't get it done. He got shipped to OKC. As a vet, that's a turning point right there. If he don't go ball and lead them to the playoffs, then now he started to become like a declining player.
Yeah.
Right. He reinvented himself, went to Phoenix, and now led them to the finals, and he gonna get a big deal. Russell Westbrook has always been an underappreciated player. I'm going to tell you why. He plays the same speed the entire game.
Yep.
And this is the greatest compliment I could pay him. He plays like they're not keeping score. Right? So the first 2 minutes of the game, he's going to play with a reckless abandon. The last 2 minutes of the game, where everybody like, hold on, slow it down. I don't care if you at the park. I don't care where you at. It's like, all right, it's gameplay. Slow it down. Hey, hold on. Russ like, nah, we going. Right? And so that is what people, that's what makes him the most polarizing. But as far as his productivity and his speed and his killer instinct and breaking the Big O's triple-double record and his rebounding and stuff, he's going to be great for the Lakers.
How does that mesh with Bron and Anthony, though? Because I think the Lakers need shooters and defenders. Like, Westbrook feel like he need the ball a lot.
They do. By the way, they still need shooters and defenders. They traded 5 people for him.
Yeah. Right. They gave him a lot.
So they're going to fill out their roster. But here's the thing. LeBron will be 37. Russ got speed. The Lakers played too slow. AD, he's dealt with injuries. He's not going to play 82 games. So when those guys, one of those guys are in or out, or both of those guys are in or out, Russell gonna be getting those supersized triple doubles, and he gonna rewrite his narrative like the other guys that I mentioned, because the Lakers are still gonna be the favorites in the West.
Even with Klay Thompson coming back for the Warriors?
Well, yes, because we don't know how healthy Klay's gonna be. Right?
Warriors deep though, man.
I love the Warriors too. Like the Warriors. What the Clippers got to deal with Kawhi Leonard's injury. So it'll be like the Warriors, the Nuggets when they get Jamal Murray back, Utah Jazz, depending on what they do on the wing. But the Lakers are the favorite, and they have Russ. So that's good for him. He's going to be back on the big stage, back playing in the finals. And then a lot of people who are even Laker fans that probably didn't like Russ' game, they'll now be defending Russ. So it gives him a chance to rewrite his narrative. Washington helping them get to the playoffs, and now being in L.A., being on the favorite, that's going to help too.
Yeah, I got to see what they do with the rest of the roster.
Does Phoenix get this far ever again? Was it one of those days? It was a perfect storm.
Just one of them days. Just one of them days. I love Monty Williams. Like he's done an amazing job as the head coach. And you talk about overcoming adversity.
Yeah,
a lot of people may or may not know Monty Williams' story. When y'all see him at a press conference, remember this. I believe, and I'll please, Laura, I hope to get the number. I believe 5 or 6 kids with his longtime wife who died in a car accident. And so he also had to step away from the game for a couple of years. And when he came back, he had a chance to take the Laker job. He turned it down and went to Phoenix and rebuilt what they've done and led them to the finals. So as long as they got him, like, I'm rolling. But I do think this was a special year for them, and the West is going to continue to get stronger. So I don't anticipate them going to the finals in the near future.
Well, why did you apologize to Big Perk? I love Big Perk, too, as a personality, but I thought that what you said to him was fair. Like, he was wrong about his predictions on the Bucks and Giannis. Like, why did you apologize for that?
Because I'm an OG, dog, and I realized that my head and body shots hit different. And when you are capping with somebody or jonesing with somebody or slapboxing with somebody, it's all fun and games until somebody get hurt.
Correct.
Or until somebody get mad. And I love him. And that's my brother. And he's crushing it. I'm crushing it. And I would never want him to walk the street or look at his timeline and have somebody be like, oh, Jalen took you down. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's a debate show. Isn't that going to happen sometimes in a debate show? You're going to have a better take, and somebody goes, "Oh, he's such got the best of you." Like,
yeah, but I apologize because I could tell that he was wounded by our back and forth, and that's why. I love him, and I don't want people to try to instigate us. So if I see that he's upset or he's hurt, I'm willing to apologize.
I respect that. You unintentionally hurt somebody, so you apologize.
Yes.
And I love seeing you and Chris Webber back on good terms too, man. Like, how do you think that healing happened?
Well, I think I think it happened through the loss of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, because his parents were at the funeral. See, this is what's crazy about relationships. Like you and I may be family for 10 or 15 years and fall out, but we still got so many people in common.
Mm-hmm.
And they shouldn't become collateral damage because as adults we're not currently seeing eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
So it's dumb when I'm at my mom's funeral, I'm hugging his mother and father, and me and him ain't seeing eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like that life is too short for that. And so I just think that became a seminal moment to where it was like, all right, it's kind of just trying to put down the gloves.
What was that conversation like? Because I saw when he got into the Hall of Fame, he was on with you, and I heard him say that at the end, man, you know how much I love your mom. And I'm like, wait a minute, we missing a whole storyline here. When did that reconciliation happen?
Well, to be fair, in theory, if there's to be a sit-down and eye-to-eye or one-on-one, that's supposed to happen now that the season has ended.
That's right.
And I don't know if I'm going to say it because I just, life may be over tomorrow. This is something that you guys would be proud of. I literally looked down at my phone yesterday, and there was a text from C-Webb to the other 4 members of the Fab Five. And he told us he loved us, he appreciated us, and he invited us to be at his Hall of Fame ceremony.
That's incredible. Dope. Couldn't be any other way, though.
That's dope.
And I responded, wouldn't miss it for the world.
That's real.
And shout to Ray Jackson, who recently lost his father. And it's like, growing up in the public eye, it's crazy. I get a chance to run into, like, media members and people that have been assassinating my character for 30 years. Mm-hmm. It's crazy as you start to become an adult. So I think we will be healed moving forward. Jawan's the head coach, doing a great job at U of M. Mm-hmm. If you guys ever in Michigan, I'm a season ticket holder. Love you guys to come to a game and represent. But it's going to be great when we're all standing at half court in Ann Arbor, Michigan, while Jawan's suited and booted coaching the team, and they're honoring our team.
That's right.
That's dope.
That's right. I know you're happy, too, that the NCAA is finally letting college athletes get paid. That's something you've been championing forever.
Hey, man.
You've been on the front lines of that fight forever.
Right? It's crazy. I'm just, as you start to get older, I remember, like, watching Muhammad Ali get vilified for so very long. And it hurt me when I saw him carrying the torch in Atlanta, and he had heavy Parkinson's. And I took it almost as, like, we waited this long as a country to celebrate my hero. Mm-hmm. And that really bothered me. And I felt like that about the Fab Five and the NCAA for so very long, because people were lining their pockets, and the fans know what we brought to the table, the Fab Five, what we brought to the culture. And I just remember those years being called a thug or being called a hoodlum. And by the way, some of my college years I actually was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was right. But we are not allowed to grow and mature. And so I'm happy for the NCAA that they now realize that this indentured servitude that you've been doing, and I'm going to be frank, it happens in the sports dominated by black athletes.
That's right.
It's such a remnant of slavery, right? It's, all right, after high school football player, you can't go to the league for 3 years.
Right.
But if you play tennis, if you play golf, if you want to be a race car driver,
be professional immediately.
You could be a pro immediately. That's only in football, and that's only in basketball. And coincidentally, in particular, football, these are the sports that fund the entire athletic program. The entire athletic program.
That's
So
right.
in other words, I need to keep you in school to fund the program and make money for the school. And so it's obvious that it was going to eventually happen, but I'm happy that it's finally happening, but better late than never.
He got to go. So he got one more. He got to go.
Does it work retroactively? Because I believe those Fab Five jerseys. Come on, man.
Not only that, but, like, people lost their Heisman trophies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reggie
Reggie
Bush
Bush.
needs to get that
Reggie
back.
Bush lost his Heisman.
But here's what's crazy, and like that's why I'm really fortunate that we stand on the shoulders of giants. We didn't know about trademarking and all of that in the early 90s. And I stumped some young people the other day. I was like, I didn't know my credit score in college. Like we were like times were I was using a floppy disk. And so imagine if we were able to trademark in one way, shape, or form the entire Fab Five.
Yeah.
Black socks. The first time we wore black socks, 3 of us had on black socks, 2 of us had on dress socks. I had on dress socks over my white socks. They didn't even have 5 pairs of black socks at the mall. They didn't have 5 pair of black socks at the mall. What about Huaraches?
Yeah.
Those came out, got re-released a couple of times. So, like, there were so many things. The longer shorts. That was something that wasn't being done.
Right.
And so
So the answer is no on the retroactive jerseys.
not going to be able to do it.
But Jalen, I know you got to head out of here, man. We appreciate you for joining us.
Anything
man.
you need to plug? I don't.
Hey, I'm one call away. I watch the show every day, whether it's on YouTube or listening to it in the car. You guys started this show, I think, about 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah, about 11 now.
Yeah.
Right.
11 years ago,
That's the same. We started Jalen and Jacoby the same time y'all started this show.
Wow.
I've always looked at our show as a mirror sports version of this show. So I want to applaud you guys for y'all professionalism, for y'all courage, and for y'all voices.
Nah, same to you, man.
You know what I mean?
I literally watch Jalen and
it's-
Jacoby every day.
Y'all know it ain't easy
Nope.
to criticize people that you got to run into, that you one text away, and to be 10 toes down at all times. It ain't easy. You got to keep your head on the swivel.
But you know what? It's just funny you say that because I look at you and you carry yourself with a certain level of integrity, even doing something like apologizing to press. That's why I said, let me ask Jalen why he specifically did that because it helps me to grow as a broadcaster too, and just as a human.
Absolutely. So I appreciate and got mad love for you guys. Don't hesitate to reach out. And if y'all ever in Detroit, please stop by JRLA. Tuition-free, open enrollment, public charter high school. Started in 2011.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm out there actually next Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'll give you a call.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate
All right.
the love.
It's Jalen Rose. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.